Welcome to Hypothesis Test Practical Implementation Jupyter Notebook. My name is Aman and I am a data scientist. In this video, I am going to take some data and show you how do you implement hypothesis testing in practical scenarios. Before going on to that, with this image, let's try understanding what are the different areas of hypothesis testing. Okay, so I have tried to keep it visual so that you can get a feel of in what kind of situation we do hypothesis test. So first is, many a times you need to do normality test. What is normality test? So you would have heard about assumptions of linear regression, where we say that target variable should be normally distributed. There are other tests, for example ANOVA. When you run that test, the assumption is your data should be normally distributed. For that, we do some hypothesis testing to know if the data is normally distributed. So that is one scenario. The other scenario is correlation test. So whether it is a continuous or continuous categorical, these kind of correlation test. That is another scenario we do hypothesis testing. The third is other kind of tests. For example, some of the parametric tests, some of the non-parametric test. Parametric will be something like t-test. Non-parametric might be something like chi-square test, and test of stationarity, right? So what is stationarity test? In time series analysis, you will have to see if your time series is stationary or not stationary. So that also comes from a hypothesis testing. Okay. Now the theory behind hypothesis testing is we take the data, we build a null hypothesis, we run some test on the data, and we either select or reject the null hypothesis. But to keep it very simple, these are the 4 steps in hypothesis testing. Okay. What is the purpose of testing? So we have seen various areas of hypothesis testing, right? Normality test, correlation test, stationarity test. So what is the purpose of your test? What are the assumptions of the test? So all the hypothesis testing when you do in Python, the internal packages assumes your data to be in some form. In some cases it will assume it to be normally distributed. In some cases it will assume it to be identical distribution, like that. So what are the assumptions? Then comes how to do that test, like what packages you need, how to throw the data to that algorithm, those kind of things. And then comes how do you interpret the result of that hypothesis test, right? So in this Jupyter notebook, I have taken some of the important hypothesis testing, okay, and I'll try to make you understand how do we use those concepts that I was discussing in my theoretical video in some data. Okay, so let's do some practical implementation, guys. So very first test which I am going to show you is known as normality test using Shapiro-Wilk test. Okay, so I give you, let's say, 100 numbers. I tell you, tell me whether these numbers are normally distributed or not. Or you take 100 numbers sample from a larger population, and you just do a hypothesis testing saying whether population will be normally distributed or not based on this sample. So for doing this, I have imported a data set here. Okay, this data set is known as wine data. Okay, so wine, this is basically red wine quality data. Okay, in this data I have taken one column here, for example volatile acidity in the wine. Okay, so if you can see this column, I have taken volatile acidity, and then before doing that test, before doing that statistical test for Shapiro-Wilk test, I am just plotting a histogram for this data. So I am rerunning the code here. If you can see, the histogram is getting plotted. Now what can you observe from this histogram? Take a moment and think through, do you see this data as normally distributed or not normally distributed? So I hope you have the answer now. This data seems to be not normally distributed. The reason being, it is left skewed, right? So normally distributed data should be symmetric around the mean, or it should not be skewed this side. So by visuals we can see that the data does not seem to be normally distributed, but we will run the statistical test and we will give the evidence and say this is not normally distributed. How to do that? Very simple. See here, I am just importing a package called Shapiro from scipy.stats, right? I am saying data to test is equal to wine data, that particular column, right? And I just say the statistics and p-value Shapiro function on this data. Okay, when I run this entire thing, I have just written a if else condition here. So if probability of null hypothesis being true more than 0.5%, 5% actually, then normal distribution, otherwise not a normal distribution. So from the histogram we are able to see that this is not, this is left skewed, so we were expecting this will not be a normally distributed data, right? So from the test also, Shapiro test, we can able to see that the p-value is very less, right? Very less. So if p-value is greater than 0.05, then only null hypothesis should be true, right? But here p-value is very less, and hence I am just printing a message saying not a normal distribution. Okay, let us move on to the next test. Now before that, I have also generated some random, you must be aware that you can generate some normally distributed numbers in Python. So I am importing numpy.random import rand n, okay, and data to test is now 100 randomly normally distributed numbers. So my data to test is changed now, if you see here, okay. So this data set Python is giving me, okay. Now this data set should be normally distributed because it is coming from rand n function, okay. Let us run the same test on this data and see how it is coming up. So Shapiro data to test is overwritten now. So data to test normal, not a normal, okay. When I run this, you can see p-value is very high here, 931, which means null hypothesis is true. Hence it is a normal distribution, okay. Very simple. So I'm sure you would have understood. Let us go to the next one. Next one is k-square normality test, okay. Tests if data is normally distributed. What are the assumption? Observation are identically distributed. What is the meaning of observation being identically distributed? The meaning is all the elements in your observation have equal probability to occur. That is the only assumption in this test, and in the previous test that we did, same assumptions are there, okay, same assumptions are there. So here I am just recreating data to test because I had overwritten that data with the normally distributed data. I am re-importing this package normal test, okay. So this will do k square normality test. Same way you just run stat.p normal test. Actually here it should be data to test, okay, on this test, and then it should say not normally distributed, right, because our p-value is again very less. So these are two of the tests for doing normal distribution. Let us move to the next bucket. Okay, what is the next bucket? Very simple one, correlation. All of us know what is correlation. What we understand as correlation is Pearson correlation basically. I am explaining here two correlation, Pearson and Spearman rank correlation. Okay, so what I have done here is I have taken wine data 1 to 30, just first 30 records. Okay, I am calling it first sample. Second sample I am calling it wine data 1 to 30. Again first 30 records I am taking volatile acidity and pH, two of the columns. I'll tell you why I have taken this column. Okay, so I am just trying to see how these two variables are varying with each other. So you must be aware that we say high correlation when variables vary with each other together in same direction or in other direction, right? But here we don't see any clear pattern, right? So what we can deduce from this chart is there is no clear, variables are not dependent on each other. Okay, so that is what we expect the test result to give us. Okay, come here, just import from scipy.stats, import Spearman R, which means we are interested in seeing Spearman correlation. Okay, and then here I am running this test, and as you can see independent samples, I am saying if p-value is greater than 0.05 then it will be independent. So this is your Spearman correlation. And if you talk about Pearson correlation, same process, you just import Pearson R. Okay, same thing you do, it will again say you independent samples. Now to tell you why I took those two columns only, the reason for that is in my data I am seeing this is the correlation graph actually, correlation table actually if you see. So I am saying my dataset.cor method is equal to Pearson. So if you see here none of the numbers are big. So what is big in this case? Anything above 0.85 on the negative side, anything below minus 0.85. Okay, so something like this I can see right now. This is a bigger number I can see. This I did not consider in my example, but what I have considered here is this number. That is the number that came into that caught my eyes when I was looking at this table. So 0.55, so this is not a strong correlation. So I was expecting it to tell me it is not a strong correlation. Why don't we try changing to this actually, total sulfur oxide dioxide. We will take these two columns and see how it is coming. Okay, so total sulfur dioxide we will take here, and what is the next column? 0.85 free sulfur dioxide. So here correlation value is looking high, hence I expect my analysis also to give me correlation. So this is how it is looking like on first 30 observations. Let us see here, dependent samples, right? It has changed now. Okay, and the Pearson correlation also I expect it to change. Pearson correlation also says dependent samples. Okay, so that is how I am able to do correlation on two continuous variable using hypothesis test. Now we are talking about two continuous variables still here. What if we need to figure out the correlation between two categorical features? Okay, what I mean by that is, there is another test known as chi-square test. So chi-square test is used to figure out the correlation between two categorical variables. How? There are two categorical variables are related or not related. That is what chi-square tells you. What are the assumptions? The observations in your data are independent and size in each box of contingency table is greater than 25. That is what I am going to tell you with the example what that means. Just hold on for a moment. Okay, an example of chi-square test I'll just show you. Loan data I am importing here. This is my input data, loan status.csv. How this loan data looks like is this. Okay, if you can see, there are different categories of loan, there are different subcategories of loan status, whether loan is fully paid or loan is charged off. Okay, and then what was the purpose of loan, credit card or debt consolidation. Okay, two categories only I have put here. Now if you do a Python cross tab on this pd.cross tab on these two columns, which columns? Loan data purpose and loan data loan status. Okay, so what you get as an output, so this is in pandas function actually, pd.cross tab. When you run this, you get a contingency data. What is the meaning of contingency data is how many in the total number of records, how many combinations are there for credit card plus charged off? 14 combination. How many combination for credit card plus fully paid? 42 combination. How many combination debt consolidation and charge offs? 8 combination, like this. So what is the assumption of chi-square test is the size in each box of the contingency table should be greater than 25, which means here I am violating the assumption of chi-square test. Okay, because this is a small data set. Ideally, when you do a chi-square test, all these numbers should be greater than 25. That is one assumption. Okay, it's not that if I run chi-square on this, it will not run. It will run, but the results might not be very reliable. Okay, I'll run on this and show you, but you should take care of this. 25 or 30 is the boundary. Now coming to this, what else is here? Assumption is all these observations should be independent, which means one observation cannot be a part of two of the boxes. Okay, one observation should come only once in any of these boxes. Okay, now if you have more categories in either this or this, then the size of your contingency table will expand. But how do we do chi-square test is same way. From scipy.stat import chi-square contingency, and you give your input data to chi-square contingency. See here, chi-square contingency, your input data, which is nothing but your contingency table. Okay, and then the main important thing here is p-value. So what is the p-value here? 0.566, which means that it is way above the boundary of 5%, almost 56% possibility against the null hypothesis, which means it is towards the null hypothesis actually, which means it is the independent categories, right? So this is how chi-square test help you to do an analysis on if two categorical variables are independent or dependent. Let me give you other example and show you what I mean by dependent. Imagine in credit card scenario, in charged off there are just 25 cases, and in credit card scenario in fully paid there are 125 cases. I am just multiplying the number by 5. 25 imagine here, 125 imagine here, and imagine I have just created a manual contingency table here. If you can see 1200 and 240, right? So 1200 you put here and 240 you imagine here. So what I am trying to tell you here is, In credit card, the fully paid is 5 times the charged off. On the other hand, in debt consolidation, fully paid is 1/5 of charged off. If that is our contingency table, so an imaginary contingency table I have created here. If that happens, then from the common sense you can think here that there is a relation between charge off and credit card, and similarly fully paid and debt consolidation, right? Because 1:5 ratio is there between these two classes. If I run my test on this data, right? So contingency data I have overwritten. I am running it on this data, and you can see it will say dependent categories. P value becomes smaller, which means that the variables are dependent on each other. No substantial evidence for the null hypothesis. Okay. So this is about chi-square test when you do on to understand the independence or dependence between two categorical features. Now this video was getting little longer, so I did not do for many more. There are many more. The initial one what I was showing you, right? In parametric there will be ANOVA coming, there will be t-test coming. In non-parametric also some more will come. Stationary I will show you Dickey-Fuller test. There are many more things which I will cover as a part 2 of this video. If you have any doubts, write me in comment. This is very important topic from data science problem solving point of view and interview point of view as well. I have tried to keep it very simple. Still, if you have any doubt, write me in comment. I'll definitely respond to you. See you all in the next video. Till then, stay safe and take care.